way to save this place. Gotta give it.
You know, Yellowstone is so significant to everything going on right now. It's strange, and I've never watched all of the seasons, and I know it has a total backstory, but what Casey says in this scene, because obviously this season was a big season. Kevin Costner is no longer on the show, so his character was killed off. And so what Casey is saying is that in order to keep the ranch, you have to give it away. And I would imagine what the plan probably is because the government wants that land. You can look at the government as the globalists. They want all of your land. Okay? That's why they've been going after the farmers in every country for so many years. Because they want the land. The globalists, and I want to point out something here. I've said before, the globalists worship the creation more than the creator, but they don't respect the globalists. When I say that they worship the creation, what I mean is that they just want to pillage the land. They worship it in a greed way, a gluttonous way, we have to own all of it way. So it's really not a worshiping of it. And I'm saying that because the Indians, their culture is very much, they believe in God, but that's wrapped up in the creation. So when I say that the globalists worship the creation, it's not because they care about the creation. The Indians, on the other hand, do care about the creation. And what's interesting is that by Casey saying this, that in order to keep it, you got to give it away. If he gives it back to the Indians, they won't they'll be able to prevent the government, the globalists, from coming in and pillaging the place and turning it into a parking lot. And there's it's nice, yes, to have your big cities and all these different luxuries, but it's also nice to have your farmlands. And even more so, what's interesting about this season of Yellowstone is that it should make you stop and think that, look, you don't eat without your farmers. You don't eat without the ranchers and the cattle. And the globalists don't want you to eat. They want you to eat synthetic meat. Everything is synthetic for the globalists. I don't know if people recognize that. Everything is synthetic. Everything is artificial, like artificial intelligence. Which brings me to the United Healthcare CEO, interestingly enough, how all these avenues, if you can see the big picture. The United Healthcare CEO, they denied so many claims because of AI. I'm not saying that gets them off the hook, because there was people that should have done the right thing and don't, but we all have operated within that system, and we go along with the corrupt system. But what it shows is that AI isn't more intelligent than you, because when humans were handling the claims, there wasn't so many getting denied. But the expert AI that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these people want to carry on about, how it's going to be AI is smarter than you and that it's going to overtake you and you're just a human. It's not so. AI can run things faster, but it's not smarter than you. And the perfect example of that is the United Healthcare Group. What it shows is that globalists want to use AI just like they want to use it in hospitals, because it will serve the people at the top, the rich. That's what it'll serve, those greedy, gluttonous people that really don't care about the land, but they are so gluttonous they want everything for themselves and then pillage it. And then instead of letting you have real meat, you're going to eat synthetic meat that their lab and scientists create. So by Casey, I'm assuming that's what Casey's going to do in Yellowstone, is that they will give it back to the Indians, because then it will prevent the government from being able to touch it. Now, that's a fine line too, though, because there's that. So if you can see the big picture here, okay, is that you have your factions, your political factions that want to get you on a side. They're the same people all the time. They want to divide you by race, divide you by class, divide you by income, divide you by ethnicity. Take your pick. They divide, and they've done that. We've seen how they do that with everything here in America, and they've also done that with the Indians and Americans. Okay, as they call the colonialists. But that's not fair either. Like, you have to, like, both those sides, they want to get you. So you have the socialist, the extreme side, and then you have the globalist. That's an extreme side, and you have to be in the middle, because there's two arguments to be made between, like, the Indians and the Pilgrims, because depending on where they were, like the Mayflower Pilgrims, they worked with the Indians. They gave the Indians knowledge that they had from being intellectuals, and they weren't high intellectuals, but they were more intellectual than the Indians. However, the Indians in return taught them how to hunt and survive. So there was this, in certain areas of America, there was this collaboration happening, which is very much what happened with Yellowstone, because the Dutton family itself knew that the Indians, they were fighting with them about, this is our land, but the Duttons owned it. However, the Duttons also let them bury their loved ones in a certain area of the land. So in the end, what will save the land is giving it away, but making sure to give it away to the right people. You don't want to give it away to the globalists. I'm talking about Yellowstone now, because in the globalists would be your government, and your government AI and tech crazy people. So you give it back to the Indians, and talk about Yellowstone. So the government can't come in and turn it into a damn parking lot, and then people can continue to, because again, it goes back to the farmers, and the farmers have been being persecuted by globalists for a long time. Globalists that don't want you to eat the actual, meat. And they make all these excuses for why you shouldn't. And then they want to make all these excuses why you shouldn't have this and shouldn't have that. And, it's all just excuses, because they're gluttonous and they're greedy. So you have to stay away from those two extremes, and it's very easy to get pulled into one extreme and the other. Just like many people would think that I side with the socialists. No, I would never be a socialist, because I can come to the middle enough. Okay? Like, there's people that wanting to continue even today to make excuses that it was okay to kill that healthcare CEO. I think the minute you lower yourself to that level, and this isn't me, clutching my pearls, okay? Because I'm far from a saint, okay? I'm not even close. But truly, when you can justify that in your brain, then you've gone all the way to one extreme. So then there's the other extreme that then tries to pull you all the way to the other side. And so that's where you have to try to stay in the middle. So it's just interesting, all of this going on with this season of Yellowstone, and really the globalists are all about everything being artificial, not just that, what Casey says here about, in order to keep it, you have to give it away. This stands out to me because first of all, it's true. In many different scenarios, it's true, because anybody who's followed me for a while knows I've been a recovering alcoholic for a few decades. And the 12th step of Alcoholics Anonymous is about, you will not be able to keep it if you don't give it away. Meaning, you can't keep the gift God gave you unless you're willing to share that with others. Something to think about, because it's kind of an important scene here in Yellowstone, especially pertinent to our current days we live in. It's time to get back to traditional values in some ways.